Hi, welcome back. I'm David, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you know what to do. And don't forget, turn on the notifications too. Every week here on the channel, we talk about tech and audio, and this week we are talking about tech, and we are talking about the iPhone 13. Yes, we have one in the studio now, and in particular, more specifically, we're actually talking about the camera setup on this lovely new phone. So let's get into it, shall we? So here we are then at that part of the video where we actually take our first look at the iPhone 13. It'll be the first time I've had one in my hands. Pretty excited, I've got to say. It's been a few weeks later than some, but there you go. Everything comes to those who wait. Yes, you'll notice there's no plastic wrapping around this box. Their environmental statement with Apple now meant they wanted to try and save as much wastage as possible. And I think they said they're going to save something like 600 metric tons of plastic through the course of the year by not wrapping these phones in plastic, so that's got to be a good thing. So I guess it's that part now. We're going to actually take the tabs off and see what's in this box, shall we? It's a sapphire blue iPhone 13. So off with the tab there, and off with the tab there. How new is this channel? I'm already doing an unboxing. Who'd have thought, eh? Let's see how easy it is to get out. Well, there we go, and there it is. There is our iPhone 13. I've got to tell you, it is beautiful. The colour, absolutely beautiful. I can't think of what to compare it to, actually. There's nothing else in the box. A couple of stickers and your normal... Oh, the lightning cable. The lightning cable's still there. Why is it not USB-C? But it's beautiful. So let's get it fired up and have a little look at some of the camera features on here. So the first question you may be asking yourself is it worth you changing phones? Well, it depends, of course, how old your current phone is, and also what your main use of your phone is going to be. Before we get going on that though, just one point to make. A lot of the time here, certainly in the UK, I don't know what it's like in the States and the rest of the world, we get our upgrades from cellular providers. And you kind of think you're getting something for nothing when this lovely box turns up with your new iPhone in. But I worked out the figures before shooting this video, and over a 2-year period, I'd actually be £200 worse off on getting it through an upgrade through my provider rather than going out and buying it for myself. Now, of course, the caveat there is that you do need to have the cash available up front. It's, £1,000 phone, so you do need to have that kind of money available. But if you have, it's better. You'll be quizzing in the long run. And also, of course, at the end of it, the phone is yours, or at any point during that period, the phone is yours to sell, upgrade when the iPhone 14 comes out next year and so on. So just worth bearing that in mind. So the three main changes on the phone this year, or the three big things I think people will be looking to change for, are the camera, which we're going to be looking at in a little bit more depth later on in the video, the screen and the battery life. Well, let's get to the screen first. Not much of a difference there, if I'm honest with you. It's a beautiful screen, don't get me wrong, as you'd come to expect with any Apple product, and certainly the iPhones. And if you get the Pro or Pro Max, you'll be getting the 120Hz refresh rate. On the battery front, yeah, there is a marked improvement over my 12 to this 13. I've only been running it for a couple of days, but so far I've had I would say 5 to 6 hours of battery life with a reasonable amount of screen on time and moderately heavy usage of the phone. I've been playing some music on it, been looking at YouTube on it, answering emails, tweets. So it's had reasonable amount of screen on time, and certainly I'm noticing a difference on the battery life. So then that brings us to the cameras, the main reason I think that most people will be changing phones this year. Now, it's interesting because we get caught up in this idea of changing a phone every year. And if you think of other big expenses in your life, say like a car, you wouldn't expect to change a car every time a manufacturer brings one out. But with a phone, somehow Apple are very clever in how they make us want to change phones every time one comes out. Now, this will be my first phone in about 18 months. So, yes, I have got the next generation, but primarily it was for the channel, just so I could give you my thoughts on what the new iPhone 13 is like. And that's been out for a week or so, but this channel's still very young. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Channel's growing, and if you can turn on notifications so you don't miss any more videos, I'd really appreciate it. So what Apple have done this year is put the same camera setup across the entire range of the phones, which is the first time they've done that. I think you get slightly bigger sensors on the Pro and Pro Max, but other than that, the actual setup is exactly the same. I'm going to show you some results that we shot in the studio using the iPhone 13 camera and also the 12, just so you get an idea of the difference of quality. I have tried shooting some shots at night, and the flaring, I'm afraid, it is still very much there. I'm no photographer, as you know, but from everything that I'm reading and watching, it shouldn't be that hard to get rid of flaring. So why Apple still have an issue with it, I don't really know. All of the professional guys are saying this is still the go-to camera if you want to get a good quality video off of a phone. I've never used Android, but apparently the video quality is second to none from guys that I respect and watch here on YouTube. So I'm going to take their word on that. And certainly the results I've had so far, I've been mightily impressed. So I think we should probably take a little look at some of the pictures that we've taken. So the pictures you can see on the screen at the moment were taken at exactly the same time, in exactly the same lighting. I didn't put any lighting, there was no flash on there. And by the way, welcome to Studio Cat Alice. I'm sure you'll be seeing her more than once during the course of the videos that we put up here on the channel. And yes, I would rather have fallen asleep somewhere better than under the studio desk. So excuse a few cables, but that's where she was when we were shooting the video. So that's where we had to make the pictures. Now, when setting the phone up, I did put one of the photographic styles on, and I'll be covering that in just a moment. I put on the rich contrast style. So if you look between the difference between the photos, you'll see the ones from the 13 are a little deeper because we had the rich contrast on there. So there's more color to them. And don't forget, you can change the styles to your preference. But if you look closely at the fibers in the carpet, and also just around her foot, you can see there's definitely more detail. It's marginal, but there is definitely more detail from the pictures that you're getting from the 13. So I think the 13 is definitely worth investigating further for the camera. Everyone's been saying there's an improvement, and you can see it with your own eyes there, I think. And there's a few more shots you can see just here in the studio. I did some B-roll shots just to give you an idea of the quality. And then we did some shots away from the studio lighting in a fairly dark environment, just so you can see what the image capture was like in less than optimal lighting. And again, highly, highly impressive. I'm sure you'll agree. So let's talk about these photographic styles. Apple actually made quite a big thing of them at the conference. Now, make no mistake, it's not just a filter, because with filters, which obviously all the iPhones have had and other apps have had for a long time, when you put a filter on, it changes absolutely everything. It's, if you imagine putting a film almost over the top of a picture with a certain hue to it, that's what a filter's doing. This is all done computationally in the software, in the iPhone, and it's much more clever than that. It's very similar to what I'm used to seeing in Photoshop, actually. It's really clever because it makes a big point on not changing the skin tones and faces, which is always the big issue when you use a filter. If you put a warm filter onto a picture before, the face would go very warm. Here, it works out to keep the face quite natural, but just warms everything around, including skies. It's really clever how it works, and you can pick between your styles, which we're just going to show you in a moment. So if you don't like the rich contrast that is set up on this phone at the moment, there are other styles that you can have. So I was just going to show you how you change the photographic styles. Now, these are baked in. It's not a per picture. Once you leave it set, this is how it's going to be on all of the photos that you take. And if you have used, say, a Samsung or a Galaxy, then on an Android phone, and particularly like, say, a Pixel look or a Samsung look, this will kind of give you that effect on all of the photos that you take. And all you need to do is drop on that arrow there and that little stack icon there, and you can now change between them: rich contrast, standard, there's vibrant and warm. We've been cool, and we've been shooting on the pictures that you saw of Studio Cat Alice with rich contrast, which adds a fair bit of depth of color, which I kind of like. And of course, the other big upgrade on the phone this year across the entire range was cinematic, and also the focus pull and bokeh that they've now put onto with the cinematic mode. They did call it Hollywood in your pocket. Now, again, I'm no photographer, but I do recognise that shooting at 1080p is not exactly Hollywood, but it is packing a mighty punch when you consider they're getting all of this technology into software. Don't forget, you can edit it in post as well. So if you've shot it and don't like the effect of the bokeh, and the rack is by when you turn away from the camera and the camera follows your eye onto who it should be focusing on. That's the rack effect. That's all been done computationally. So again, you can alter that in post, and you can reduce or increase the amount of depth of field and bokeh that you've got after you've made the shot, which that is mighty clever, because you can't even do that on a mirrorless camera. So to be able to do that on an iPhone is hugely impressive. So here we go then. This is now shooting in cinematic mode on the iPhone 13. Don't forget, it is shooting only at 1080p, 30 frames per second. Don't know why it's not at 24 frames, and I'm guessing you can't shoot at 4K just because of the amount of information that's being processed in the phone. But hopefully what you're seeing is a nice depth of field, actually nice and sharp in front of you, blurry behind me, and also for point of reference, we are shooting this on the inbuilt microphone on the iPhone 13. Now, of course, I am in a sound-treated studio. You can probably see behind me some Art Novium panels. In fact, I had a couple of emails about those last week, so I'll leave a link to you below what the sound treatment we've got in here is. But we are using the native microphone on the iPhone 13. So let me know, what does it look like? Have you had good results with the camera so far? I can't wait to see this footage back myself. It's the first time I've shot in cinematic mode on the brand new iPhone 13. So there you go then. That is our look at the brand new iPhone 13. And you can imagine I have been looking forward to receiving this phone so much. And this sapphire blue, sorry if there's any fingerprints on it, but it's a beautiful colour. I'm trying to remember what it puts me in mind of. There's something from my childhood this colour puts me in mind of, and I cannot think of it. If you know what this sapphire blue reminds you of, and you're of a certain age, drop it down in the comments below. And also, I'll be interested to know how long you've had your iPhone 13 for, what you've used it for. Have you noticed an improvement with the cameras? Let me know, because clearly the more you let me know the features you're finding, it probably helped me to go and find something. This channel's all about helping one another and making mistakes. And by the way, talking of mistakes, I wish somebody had told me that learning how to use a video app would have been a really good idea before starting a YouTube channel. But hey, we're learning together. So as I make my mistakes, you'll see them, and hopefully you won't make them, because I can help you out along the way and tell you where I went wrong and hopefully save you from making those same mistakes. But anywho's, yeah, let me know in the comments down below what results you've had with your iPhone 13 and in particular the camera app. It'd be lovely to hear from you. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget, subscribe and also drop a like and turn on the notifications so you don't miss another video. And I think fairly soon, I will be talking about iOS 15 as well. I put the iOS 15 on and had a little play with it. I've also written a blog on the iOS 15. So if you want to read that, you can find it on Medium or go to my website. All the links are down below. And take a look there. And again, if you found some features that you particularly like, some of the hidden features, not the obvious ones in iOS 15, let me know down below. It'd be really interesting to see what little nuggets you found out. So until the next time, you can watch my old video over here or here, one of the two. And until the next video, I'll see you soon.